kills to love. It kills to
Hey,
hide.
how you going?
I thought I could lead a life without you.
You did the right thing in the end. That will work in your favor. So let's concentrate on that. I can help you organize a lawyer or legal aid.
No, thanks.
What do you mean you're going to need representation?
Why? What's the point?
Tane, what do you mean?
I broke an AVO. I kidnapped the baby. You really think a lawyer's going to make any difference?
Yes, I do.
Well, I don't. I don't care anyway. So thank you, but I don't need your help.
We are Si and Sophie. This is Coastal News, a home and away podcast, your weekly episode companion podcast for your favourite Aussie soap.
Still shaking from the week that was.
I was so good this week. I'm sorry. I was texting you and I couldn't keep it in. I was like, oh my god, this has happened. And you're probably just like, yeah, I know, I've seen it. I'm watching it. Oh my god, I was so excited. Like, so much happened this week, and I was just like loving all of it. So
Yeah.
What about you?
I've watched it twice. I mean, I know that's pretty standard, but I was like, oh, I can't. You know, when you talk, I just wanted to sit and watch it and not have my podcast hat on.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Such good episodes.
So
we were
good.
gushing last week, weren't we? But like, even better. So it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Best moment, I thought. I don't know whether I'm torn between thinking the wedding. I actually got a bit of a quivering bottom lip, or whether it was the downfall. Tane's come up and finally.
That was long overdue, wasn't it? I think the wedding for me, because it had several moments in that were like my favourite moments. I think I texted you this. I was like, John flinging Tori around the dance floor, favourite moment. Alf with his bottle of VB in his hand, favourite moment. Remy looking hot as AF in his suit, like, well, I love a guy in a black shirt, black trousers. He just looks hot with a guitar. Sorry, that's my type. And and then obviously meeting Sarge.
The elusive Sarge.
Which I'm
bit
sure we'll
grumpy
talk
though.
about. And I liked him. I thought it was funny.
Commanded the room, didn't he?
He did. I was like, oh, what do you need? What do you need? So, yeah, like
even
so
do
many
you know what?
moments.
Didn't even hate Rose this week. Like,
No, actually felt sorry for Rose a lot this week as well. I feel for her.
Yeah.
I never really felt anything for her before, and I felt stuff this week. So that was new. Yeah.
Well, shall we do it? Do
Yeah.
you want your headlines?
I do.
There's not a dry eye in the house as Leah and Justin tie the knot. Stevie receives news that results in Cash's dismissal. The manhunt for Tane steps up before he hands himself into Yabby Creek PD. And Mac and Levi caught in the act.
Please take the time to like, subscribe, and review Coastal News wherever you source your podcasts and ensure you never miss an episode.
Right, weddings fast approaching as we kick off this week. Love a good wedding, not to be sniffed at. And Leah's worried that Theo isn't going to be back from the city in time. You'll remember that he's gone AWOL with Valerie on a bender, hasn't he? And Justin said some cock and bull that he's on an errand in the city, and Leah's sort of smelling a rat a little bit, isn't she? She's panicking a bit. Remember, she's had nothing to do with the wedding other than the dress. So, of course, lack of control and lack of knowledge about what's to come is starting to panic her a bit in the last moments. Even Alf picks up on it and has a good old chat with Justin, tries to reassure him that he'll come through. So meanwhile, Maz starts and Irene start to plan Leah's hen night, and she's going to stay over at Irene's house the night before. Now, before we go anywhere, let's just address the elephant in the room. Irene and alcohol. She's gone and bought a bottle of fizz. She's chilling it in the fridge, broken her own rule, which
know.
Dana out. What the hell is that all about?
I actually texted you this. I didn't know. I was like, what? She's broke the rule. This is the cardinal rule. This is like, I think, the only rule really that she's got, because she's pretty chill, isn't she, Irene? But the rule has always been no booze in the house. And she's gone mad at people in the past, hasn't she, when they've bought a bottle of booze in the house?
Yep.
So this was shocking. I was shocked.
I'm a bit miffed, actually, because that's like a huge that's huge for Irene. Like, and now we're getting a bit blasé with it. Like, oh, it's fine if it's my friend's wedding. Like, I'm a bit miffed at it. It's not her, it's not Irene, but also, even though if she's tempted to have a glass, I'm all for that, actually. So I'm being a bit flu.
I was keeping an eye on it. I was like, that's still orange juice. Okay, never mind.
But also, what kind of message does that send out about addiction and and all that stuff, right? So probably thinking too much into it. But yeah, I was a bit miffed, actually, that she did that.
I think she was probably hoping that it wouldn't be around for long, because as soon as it's opened, Marilyn and Leah are going to neck it, aren't they? So
yeah,
I think she thought it'll be here for half an hour and then it'll be gone. So don't know.
Yeah, well, let's hope nothing comes of it. But if we start seeing booze at the house again and not really talking about it, it's gonna wind me up. I don't whether that was an oversight or whether it was I don't know what they were thinking. Just keep it as it is. She's an alcoholic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right, but so Leah, I forgot her name. Leah turns up to her hen do, but her mind's elsewhere. She's preoccupied with the Theo Justin thing, isn't she? Like, she knows Justin's sort of something's not right, and she can't take her mind off it, so she's not really enjoying it. Leaves her own hen party, which I found bizarre. Like, so Maz and Irene just kicked on while she went back home halfway through her own hen do. Who does that? Who does that?
Only Leah.
Only Leah, yeah. Because Leah's, it's all Leah's the center of the universe. And she goes back home and has a bit of a snoop around her own house, looking for clues as to what's going on with Justin and the wedding. Finds this black folder, as we alluded to in First Look last week, and there's a big note on it saying the VJ issue. So she's absolutely panicking. Gets caught by Justin, who's sneaking around the house. Didn't even hear him come in. Sneaking around the house, saying, "What on earth are you doing? You don't trust me." This is all night before the wedding, people. I'm just thinking, obviously, the wedding's not going to go off without a hitch. So she doesn't trust him. She's worried now. She's seeing this VJ issue thing. She's gone back to her hen party going, "I don't think my son's coming to my wedding." Oh, God. So you've got to have last minute wedding drama like this, haven't you?
Yeah.
Otherwise it'd be pretty boring. Other than that, the wedding preparations were pretty lovely. I thought everyone looked amazing. I thought Marilyn did a sterling job of geeing everybody up over at Irene's house. It's always nice to be back in Irene's house as well, isn't it? Let's face it.
Yeah.
However, the next day, morning of the wedding, there's still things going wrong, because Marilyn gets a little emergency text off John, "Meet me at the diner, it's urgent." Goes running down there and he's told that Jet, their son's wife, has been in a car accident and someone needs to go. It can't be John because he's celebrant extraordinaire, remember? So Marilyn agrees to go. Now, we were very eagle-eyed here, weren't we, Sophie?
It's just weird, wasn't it?
Was this the plan? We suspect not, don't we? Because Marilyn then goes back to Irene's house to finish the wedding preparations, gets dressed in a lovely dress, fascinator, you name it. Then it's not actually mentioned that she slopes off. I mean, she just say, "Oh, no one will notice," blah, blah, blah. Then she's not at the wedding, Marilyn. She's just not there, is she? All day. So we suspect somehow perhaps the actress Emily Simons probably wasn't available, or something happened where she couldn't film the wedding. But perhaps the intentions were that she was, and they've dropped that scene in to get her out of town while the
Yeah.
wedding's on, because why else would she then go back to the house, get dressed for a wedding she's not going to, and then nobody
Exactly.
mention it?
And John wouldn't make her leave the party either. John, if it was planned, John would have gone. I mean, planned as in by the writers. John would have gone to the house. He would have gone to Irene's and said, "Oh, can I have a quick word with you?" And he wouldn't have said, "Oh, I know you're doing all the hen party stuff, and you literally have to be there because you're doing all the beauty preparation and everything. But can you just nip to the diner? I'm not going to tell you why till you get here." It doesn't feel like it was deliberate. It feels like you say. It feels like this was dropped in because Marilyn's, wasn't available. Emily wasn't available for the wedding, which is such a shame.
Something didn't go to plan.
It's such a shame because it's robbed us of having a Marilyn and John at a wedding.
I know.
I wanted to see her. I want to see her reacting to John doing the ceremony, and then having that. He was flinging Tori around the dance floor, but would it have been Marilyn if she had been there? We're all kind of like, there's like a missed. It's like sliding doors, isn't it? It's like a missed opportunity here, I think.
There's a lot of people as well out there that want that reconciliation between those two. So, it's moments like this that we're all looking at closely. But it felt like an after one, didn't it? Not an afterthought, but like, change. It felt like a change of plan. It might not have been, but it just felt that way.
Yeah.
And Alf, he's getting all soppy as well, as you do at a wedding. Love a good home and away wedding. Gives Leah a gift. This is a necklace.
Oh, yes. I love this. I texted you. I was jealous. I was like, I'm so jealous. So jealous. I'm so jealous of Leah right now.
She's all upset, isn't she? Because she's like, my son's not going to be there to walk me down the aisle. And Alf says, well, I'm no substitute, but I'll do it, Dal. Like, okay.
I'm so jealous.
So off they go. Absolutely gorgeous venues. Done good, Justin. Done good. This episode, this is why Home and Away cannot be touched by other soaps. This was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. Yeah. No other soap has scenery like it, honest to gosh. I think we're so lucky that we're on location all the time on Home and Away. We really are. The absolutely beautiful setting. They arrive in the car, the music.
Oh yeah.
Everywhere by Fleetwood Mac. Well, it wasn't Fleetwood Mac, was it? But it was a cover.
It was covers, but it was covers of songs that we know. It's popular songs, not just some random songs. I was actually really impressed by the choice of music, and I love the way they filmed the whole wedding as well. I love the way they filmed the arrival of the cars, and then obviously VJ popping up, and how they followed everybody around because obviously we don't have many places or many scenes in Home and Away where like most of the cast is on screen at the same time.
Yeah.
That's quite unusual, isn't it? And to have that many people, and then we've all got all these little side conversations going on, and then we're following the people around the wedding. I absolutely loved the way they filmed all of this, and it was so gorgeous to look at.
It was. And do you know what? It went on for the whole episode. Like sometimes a soap wedding will be like, obviously there's other stuff going on in a soap, like it's an ensemble, isn't it? So there's other stuff that you have to go to, but sometimes some weddings you're like, it's done and dusted in a few minutes. You see the vows and then it's all about the party and the drama afterwards, sort of things. We saw the lot. I felt like we spent the day at that wedding. It was a proper event. It was good. It even went into the next day, actually.
It did. It crossed 2 episodes, which is quite unusual for Homers as well. It reminded me a bit of when you say that, right? We saw the whole thing. We saw the whole ceremony when Vinny and Leah got married, didn't we? That was a whole episode, I think.
Yeah, that's true. Going back a bit now, though.
But it's just like the airtime that Leah's weddings have had. I think, and it's been really good to see. I've enjoyed.
Yeah, I have. This was so good. You could tell everything was up a notch.
Yes.
Lots of dollars spent.
Yeah. Like the
table.
We saw the table preparation. I mean, they actually had the full wedding paraphernalia on the table, didn't they? It wasn't just a couple of vases of flowers and a tea light candle. You know what I mean? It looked amazing. It looked like a real wedding.
You did, and the characters were acting like they were at a real wedding, like they were sitting gagged, talking in the corner,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
and someone
Yeah.
one was always the goofball like John trying to get someone to dance with him, and
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we talk about VJ's dancing?
If you want to.
He looked like one of those monkeys with cymbals.
There was a lot of dodgy dancing, I'll be honest. I wasn't sure if they had music playing when they were dancing and whether they put that in later, because I was like, they're not actually dancing to this music that's playing right now. I wasn't sure.
And if they were, we've got serious issues. What did you make of Justin's song, or dare we mention it?
I preferred his vowels. I thought the vowels were very nice. I thought the song was a bit, I don't know, something about a train. I just started laughing. It was like, oh, I don't know.
I've written this myself, and it was like the same line over and over and over.
It's like we're on a train and we're old. I can't actually remember the lyrics, but it was like we're on a train to somewhere, and life's a journey, and we're getting older. And I was like, oh, this is depressing.
Yeah.
Bless him, he tried. He
did. I thought it was absolutely gorgeous. We had VJ, Tori, Ava, and Ava behaved, thank God.
Yeah.
But I thought it was gorgeous we had them back. Even one day, I mean, it's a long way to go for it. Took longer to get there and back.
23 hours on the plane for Tori, and she was only there for 12 hours.
Tell you what, though, if we look that good when we get off the plane.
We will not. We will. What? I speak for myself. I'll look like a bag of shit when I get to Sydney. Yeah, I look like a cup of cold sick getting off the plane. There we go.
Yeah, but Tori managed to pull it off and look great, didn't she?
She looked gorgeous. Yeah.
I missed her. We said last week you can take her or leave her, can't you? But I missed Tori. I thought she was a real strong character. But never mind.
Yeah.
It's funny she's back, because lots of the lots of things online about bring Tori and Christian back. You remember we used to laugh at it all. It's funny that they've actually done it.
Well, yeah. I mean, we know that she's behind the scenes on the show, don't we? She works on the show now, but just not in front of the camera. So we know. I think the fact that we know she's there is the kind of the thing that everyone talks about. It's like, just put her in front of the camera. It's like, well, no, she's she's in a different role now. But then I think she did actually tweet. She had somebody tweeting her every day, like bombarding her, saying, bring Tori back. And I think she did tweet eventually and say, no, I'm not coming back. And obviously now she has. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if she's still got that tweet that says, no, it's not happening. But
it's not happening, Rakoff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Humble pie, Tori. Humble pie. And Matt Little, he's the same, isn't he? He's behind the scenes.
Yeah.
DJ. So no excuse, really, was there? No excuse. No. But it was a long way to go for a day. Now, the wedding was gorgeous. It went off fine. Even the band were doing well. Everyone was loving it, having a fab day. It just felt so nice, warm and fuzzy. However, attention soon turns to Valerie and the old drugs thing going on. There's an interval in the party for the band, and Valerie and Theo take it upon themselves to go off to the sideline. She's waving a bag of whatever around, as usual.
Big bag.
Lots of pills, many a pill.
Why would you take your whole stash to a wedding? Like, are you planning to give one to everybody? I was like, why has she got so many with her?
Well, she's just bought a job lot, hasn't she, off the dealer last week with all that cash.
Leave them at home and take a couple in your baggie in your purse. That purse was quite small, and I thought that those drugs take up all of that purse. That's ridiculous.
Silly cow. And she's trying to get Theo to do it. He's saying no. Justin clocks it, follows them, asks for a minute, and he's like, this was like the big wedding cliffhanger, wasn't it? We said all this drug drama would be at the wedding. Not a glow stick, though. Bit disappointed at that. And Justin's like, are you going to tell me what's going on? He's like, what? And he's like, well, how about starting with how you stole money off me to buy drugs?
Yeah,
Theo's
that's a good
jaw just
start.
drops. It's not a pleasant conversation, is it? And he, in all but says, I want her gone. When Leah and I get back from our honeymoon, I want her gone. Yeah, I can't believe you've done this. You know, you betrayed me and all the rest of it. And Theo is visibly shaken about this conversation. And, you know, he's let everybody down. And I thought Justin handled it quite well, actually. I was quite happy with that. I thought he was stern enough. It's not really, it is a knee jerk. He's not really thinking about the problems that Valerie has. He's just thinking about, he's upset. He's upset. He's been lied to.
He doesn't know, does he? Because we keep forgetting that she hasn't actually told Leah about her brother. So Justin doesn't know either. Kirby knows and Theo knows, but nobody else knows what's wrong with her, really. And the thing I really liked about this, I mean, we talk about it all the time, don't we? You know, remembering the show's history. We've got long memories, and we go, but don't they remember that so and so happened, or don't they remember that so and so exists, or whatever? So bringing back all these people that we've talked about, like Tori and VJ and everybody. But what I really liked about the conversation between Theo and Justin was Justin, as I mentioned last week on the pod, Justin said, "I know about addiction. I've been there. Brody's been there. It fucked us up. It's going to fuck you up." And I thought, I love this. I love the fact that they've actually remembered that we've had these, you know, these connections, and this has happened before. We've got that experience. This is why I'm thinking Home and Away's changed this year. Something's changed this year because we are referring back to things and people, and you know, the fact that we've had Martha. You know, we've not actually said Martha's name, but we've had discussions about Martha between Mr. Stewart and Rue, but then we've actually, you know, had this discussion about Brody this week. I was like, yes, this is what we want.
Well, you literally asked for it last week. You were like, I hope, you know, we need to remember the backdrop here for Justin and drugs and all the rest of it. And I thought of you as soon as he said it. I thought, here we go, Soph.
I know. I was so I literally sat up. I was like, oh. I was so excited. I love this. I need to hear this, because I'm sat there as a fan screaming at the TV going, well, Justin, you know about drugs, and you know, and then when he says it, I'm like, oh, well, I don't have to say it now because they're saying it for me, and I feel kind of vindicated. It sounds really strange, but I'm like, yes, oh, I'm glad everyone's remembered this, because I do. You know, I don't want us to forget what's happened on the show, and I don't want us to lose that. Oh, I'm just loving the way they're stitching stuff together at the moment, making it more, you know what I mean? Like, you could pick the show up and never have watched it, and you could pick it up and get into it really quickly. But for us fans that have watched it for years, it's nice to hear this back history mentioned, even if it's one line, you know?
Yeah, even if it's just a nod.
Yeah.
You know, it's an acknowledgement that there's us loyal people out there.
Yeah.
With memories, unfortunately.
Yes. Yeah.
Could tell you all about Home and Away, but couldn't tell you what I had for my tea last night.
Right.
It's mad, isn't it? So Theo, like I say, visibly shaken, and Justin's gone back to his wedding, and then he's got to say to Valerie, we're not doing the pills. In fact, I want you to get rid of him. Like, he knows everything. Get rid of him. And he's then called back onto stage, so that cuts short the conversation, and she's agreed to get rid of him. Just as she's about to pour them down a drain, she thinks, no, these have cost us a fortune, and I want them, and I'm addicted, and how am I going to cope? Presumably, that's what's running through her mind. She puts them and stashes them inside his guitar box, which is important for later on, because the end of the wedding is coming to a close. What a gorgeous day. Best episode ever. Go and watch it if you haven't watched it. If you've watched it, go and watch it again on My 5, because it was wedding of the decade, let's face it.
Yeah.
And that's come to a close, and they're all thinking about how to get home. John's driving the band home because they've all had a drink, so they're having to leave their equipment at the venue and go back for it the next day, which is important for the plot, because what happens next is interesting. Now, obviously, we've got Kirby and Theo arguing about this drug stuff. You know, Kirby's been upset and battling with the whole it was me who told him. They're arguing back at the house, aren't they, when they get home after the wedding? Why did you tell him, and all the rest of it? And she's saying she doesn't care about you, she cares about the drugs. And she's, you wake up and smell the coffee, man. Do you know what I mean? You're she even says you're not helping her, you're aiding her, you're
you're getting involved, you're joining in. Yeah,
you're actually doing the opposite of what you're trying to achieve, because he won't let go, will he? He's like, I'm her savior, she needs help, blah blah blah. And she's like, I know you love her, but this isn't right. She needs to go back to where she came from.
Right.
To the clinic. So yeah, but he's having not a bar of it. This argument spills into the next day as they're driving back up to the venue to get all the equipment. And who's there but Rose with a bloody speed gun, and she notices their tail lights out or something, doesn't she?
Brake light, yeah.
Follows them in the van, and when she sirens to pull him over, he puts his foot to the floor, which obviously you're now immediately suspicious. I'm holding my breath at this point, thinking, well, the jig's up. He's got all these drugs in his system, blah, 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 blah. So she's obviously very sus, Rose, when she finally tracks them down. Eden and Kirby are also in the car, aren't they? And they're a bit perplexed as to why he's behaved this way and not just stopped from a routine police stop. And Rose isn't buying any of Theo's behaviour, so searches the car where the guitar box is and finds the pills.
I have questions about this.
Deep doo-doo here now. Go on, what's your questions?
So why did Theo put his foot down? Why didn't he just pull over? Because he didn't know the drugs were in the car, did he? He didn't know the drugs were in his guitar case. So does he just think she's going to be able to see that he's off his tits on drugs even though he's not?
Yeah, because you remember, the night before when they got back to the house, he and Valerie took another pill, didn't they?
They did, yeah, but that was hours ago. So
I think maybe he was worried that he was going to get caught with drugs in his. I'm reading between the lines. That's how I took it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that they do would be breathalyze you, and it's not going to show up on a breathalyzer. It's a blood test, isn't it? So I was thinking, I don't know why he's put his foot down, because he wasn't drinking at the wedding. Like, they made a big hoo-ha about the fact that he wasn't drinking at the wedding, and this was plot point as well, wasn't it? So like, oh, look at him, he's not drinking, he can drive us home, etc. Before they asked John, so I was like, well, he hasn't been drinking at the wedding, so he's not got alcohol in his system. And the worst she can do when she pulls him over is breathalyze him, just to make, because she knows that he was at the wedding. He'll pass the breathalyzer because it won't show up on that. It's only if he refuses to be breathalyzed, then he gets taken down the station, then they can do a blood test, and then the drugs can be found. I was really confused. I was like, I don't know why he's put his foot down.
If he'd have just complied, it'd have been a quick, your lights out,
Yeah.
And on you go. I don't even think she'd have breathalyzed him, because she even said to her partner, didn't she, oh, it's my friends, I'll just let them know their lights out.
Yeah.
Like, it was a non-thing, wasn't it? There was no trouble.
Also, my second question is, how did she see his brake light was out when he was driving? He wasn't braking. I was like, how did she know the brake light's out? He's not even using the brake. I'm so confused. Just me.
No, you're right. I'd not even considered that. But maybe that's why it wasn't on, because he wasn't actually braking.
He had his foot on the gas, not on the brake. I was really confused. I don't want to pick it apart, but I was like, okay, there's two things here that don't quite add up to me, but there we go. I tell you what I did like. We had the whole, she stashed it in the guitar case and what have you, but we saw her true colours, Valerie's true colours, at the house the night before, when she was all worried, oh, I can't believe you left the equipment there, pretending she cares about his guitar. Because now he can look back at that conversation and go, you were so worried about me leaving the guitar there because the drugs were in it, not because you're worried about me or my guitar or my stuff or my career or and it's just ringing exactly what Kirby had said to him. She doesn't care about you, Theo. She cares about the fact that you can buy her drugs, and she cares about the drugs. And that conversation should be ringing in his head now, because that's all she cared about was the guitar case that's got the drugs in it. is
It
not at
should
home,
be,
not
but
here.
it doesn't though, does it?
No,
Not up
not
to where
yet.
we're up to. Because even when they get hurled down to YCPD, all three of them, to be tested and interviewed, them two are absolutely fuming at him for it, aren't they?
Yeah.
Eden's discovering the whole drug things for the first time at this point. He's still protecting her at the police station, so it's
It doesn't
not.
mention her. No.
It's not computing, is it?
No.
He's not realizing how serious this is getting. And poor Rose, who's in an absolute foul mood because she's been took off the other case, which we'll come on to shortly. So she's been shoved on the side of a road. Has had to now deal with all this.
Yeah.
But she was very.
And again, she's
very
arresting
policey.
people that she's friends with. You know, she's just had to go through a week of giving an AVO out and then arresting Tane, who's her boyfriend's housemate. And this week, she's really close to Kirby, isn't she? And now she's had to arrest Kirby. She's
having a stinker.
spit fire. And the same week that her Sarge has told her to stop being lenient on people that she knows and put her foot down and be professional and do a bloody job. You know, it's just like, I've actually felt really bad for her this week.
Yeah, she's having a stinker week, isn't she? She's having a stinker. Honest to God.
Who's she going to arrest next, Cash? You know, like...
I think I had a headache
Xander.
for her.
I know.
I
was like, is she going to have to arrest her brother next? Or, you know, like, who's going to be on the next... rap sheet. Bless her. I did feel for her.
I know I did, which isn't very often. Now she has to say to him, you're negative for the drugs, that's fine, but I'm gonna have to do you for possession. So you're gonna be in the cells until bail. Who can I call? And they're all like, nobody. But Eden's like, you can ring Levi, he'll bail us out.
Yeah.
So Levi comes to the rescue and then he gets them out, and then he and Eden go back to Salt afterwards for a debrief, I can only assume, and a very stiff tequila. Now here, obviously, who works and owns Salt? Mac. So this propels as one of the other stories. You talk about the stories knitting together, because they have this tequila. There's a bit of a look and a bit of a. I couldn't tell whether Eden was sus about any of this, because Mac seemed to know what had gone on, and Eden was like, "How do you know?" And she's like, "Oh, I was eavesdropping." I'm thinking, "Oh God, my heart's beating out my chest again." And outside, plain as day in the car park, just as Levi's about to leave, Matt goes out there. They're chit-chatting. They're all up in each other's house, against his car, kiss. And of course, Eden's around and she sees it.
And it could have been anybody. It didn't even have to be Eden. It could have been anybody. And they already got caught in that exact same place last week, or thought they did, because obviously Mr. Stewart, I don't think he actually saw them. He walked past. But they've already been almost caught red-handed. And it didn't have to be Eden. It could have been literally they know everybody that lives in this bloody town. So this was so careless. I was so angry with them.
Very careless. Or was it calculating from Mac's side?
Oh, it could have been.
I can't decide. I can't decide whether she's just doing this on purpose or whether she is just plain stupid at this point.
Yeah.
Because they're not doing it behind closed doors. Bloody summer bake. It's surf club. You know what I mean? Where else is there anyone else is going to be?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ridiculous. So obviously Eden clocks it. Whether she followed them because she was sus, we don't know, do we? But she seems to be there, and she says, "You cheating liar." Well, obviously I couldn't breathe, and she runs off, and you're just like, the jig's up, surely. The jig's up.
Yeah, it's up. The jig is up. She knows. I mean, this was the critical person to find out, wasn't it? So
it's not. Well, it doesn't stay in very long, does it? Because before long, Flick's aware of it. The next day, or later on that day, it was the next episode, isn't it? There's this. He's trying to talk to her. He's panicking. Mac's trying to do damage control. She's like, she could be on the phone to your wife as we speak. Imogen's on the phone. Poor old Levi. Are we supposed to feel sorry for him? He's up all night mulling over his text messages at why. Oh my God. I did like that. Mac comes out because he's up in the middle of the night reading his text messages off his wife. Who's that? Imogen. Oh, right. Do you want to come back to bed? I was like, okay.
I know. This is why
What is
I just
going on?
don't feel for this pair at all, because they're horrible. The fact that Mac is not feeling any guilt at all, it's almost unbelievable that she doesn't feel any guilt at all. Now that especially now that she's met Imogen and seen that she's lovely. I don't get it. Mac's so cold in this. Isn't she? And the way that she's sort of talking to Felicity as well, like, and another thing I love this week. So obviously when Flick finds out, talking about, history, and this was only last year, the fact that she said,
I know what you're gonna
oh
say.
no, or earlier this year, it might have been earlier this year, I can't remember now. But when she said, well, you were Mrs. Judgy when all that stuff came out about me and Tane, you were the first person to throw your moral compass at me, and look at you now. I love that, because everyone's been saying this for weeks on Facebook and Twitter. Wait till Flick finds out, because Mac was so judgmental with her, and family and marriage, and
forcing her to tell him. Forcing her to speak to Tane, weren't
exactly.
she?
Tell your husband or I'll tell him. You can't lie to your husband. And then she's like, well, and then Mac was like, yeah, but I'm not the one that's lying. I'm not married. I was like, whoa. This was a really good scene. We needed this. I needed to see this.
Oh, it's so good, isn't it? It's just so good. I mean, the cat's out of the bag now. The cancer will spread, won't it?
Yeah.
And I suspect we're in for a huge week with this next week. Because the whole man and his wife knows at this point. Well, they don't, but like, there's enough people know now. I mean, Eden's realizing that Tane and Marley have been lying to their faces.
Oh yeah.
When they eventually track each other down, she's like, you are just like Dad. And you're like, yeah, like father, like son.
Yeah, which is everything we've been saying. I love this. It was like they were talking for us, like the audience, because obviously this has been going on for so long that we've all had conversations about this online, and we've all had our 2p's worth. And I love the fact that they said all the stuff that we were saying. She said, I can't believe I'm so stupid. I kept seeing them together, and it never occurred to me. And Flick was like, well, yeah, I saw them at Mac's house, and I just bought the lies as well. So yeah, I'm glad we're getting this dialogue that, oh God, haven't we been stupid, or have we been stupid, or have we missed this, or whatever? Because we're screaming on the internet going, you've just caught them with each other again and you're not sus. This is so weird. Why is he in the bay? And the fact she even said, all the stuff we've been saying again, like she even said, were you even here for me at all? Was it all about Mac? Did you ever want to get back in my life, or were you only ever in the bay to see her? Another thing people have been saying online. And then also saying, like, you brought me in on the lie. You've brought me in, you've used me as a shield to hide behind when you're lying to your wife. Again, another thing people were saying online. I'm loving the fact that the script is reflecting what we're all saying. Because we need to see it, don't we?
Yeah.
I think.
Well, it validates us, doesn't it? It
does.
validates our opinions.
Yeah.
What did you think of it when he shouts, "I'm in love with her"? Because you've been saying quite a lot about it being a bit seedy and a bit going nowhere. Did you buy any of that? Like, because we've been saying it's not the big romance affair, that they're proclaiming it to be, really.
No, I don't think. I think he probably believes that. He probably believes that he's in love with her, because that's how he's making himself feel better. This isn't just just sex. I'm in love with her, and this means something. But I think it's going to be key now whether this is really love or whether it's lust, because now everyone's finding out, and everyone is sort of not happy about it, which is what we're saying. Like, nobody's going to be happy about this. The backlash from everyone that's going to find out about this, that's been involved, and the backlash of people that didn't know versus those that did know and were helping to cover it up. There's going to be a huge fallout on this. And in this situation, Levi and Mac are either going to be brought together because they've got common enemies now that everyone hates them, or it's going to tear them apart, because they're going to be fighting each other as well as having to fight everyone else that's against them. And I think this is the key moment to see how strong this relationship is, because if they're not supportive of each other, this is going to fall on its face, which is what I've been saying.
Yeah. And I'm actually in that camp with you. I think that's going to happen. I don't see longevity if the whole world is against them.
They're snapping at each other, aren't they? He's snapping at her. She's snapping at him. You know, when the whole Tane thing kicks off and he's like, oh, I've made you some lunch. And she's like, I can't eat anything, Levi. And then she's like, oh, sorry. And then he snaps at her about, well, my life's already blown up. And she's like, oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I was like, this is not a loving, supportive, nice, you know, I don't feel the love here.
No. And at some point, these two need to realise that they're going to break this poor girl's heart.
Yes.
You know, and maybe they're not ready yet, whatever, but he needs to grow up here now, go home and have a chat. So he can't have his cake and eat it for much longer. No. So, and it's their own stupidity that's got him in that place. Roll on next week. Roll on.
It's Imogen and Eden that I feel bad for, because obviously I think we've alluded to it this week. Eden's used to having no brother in her life. I think she could easily go back to having no Levi in her life, because he's only been around
literally
for a couple of
says
months.
It, doesn't she?
Yeah, like it's not going to take much of a change for her to go back to how she was a few months ago and just forget that she got a brother again. You know, it's a shame, but she's lived that long without him that it's not really that big a difference for her. But then Imogen's got no marriage, and then this new friend, because she seems quite lonely, Imogen. I don't know whether you get that impression as well, but she seems quite lonely and then quite relieved to meet Eden and have stuff in common with her and have someone to go to gigs with and talk to and stuff. Yeah. And now she's lost that, and I'm like, oh, that is such a shame, because how can they stay in touch now?
Yeah.
They can't.
Yeah, well, that's repercussions of things like this happening, isn't it? The ripples that you know, around on people who surround the couple. It's important to highlight, really is. Right, Stevie. Let's talk about Stevie, because there was finally a little bit of a development here.
Yes.
Although she's so undomesticated, she doesn't know the difference between a microwave and a phone going off.
I love this scene. I was texting you. I was like, it was a nothing scene, really, because it was just them two at Cash's house, and Cash has got a bowl of, I don't know, super noodles or something, hasn't he? That he's got out of the microwave. I don't know what he's doing, how he's cooking that. But this scene, obviously the dialogue was happening, but while this was happening, she's obviously anxious, isn't she? And she's like pacing around the kitchen, and then she's looking at what he's got in his bowl. They're not even mentioning the fact that he's eaten anything. And she's grabbing a fork, and then she's putting a fork in his bowl. And he's like looking at her like incredulous, like, what the hell are you doing? This is my food. But all the while they're not actually, you know, saying anything about this out loud. He's not going, what you doing in my food. He's still talking about the fact that, you know, this audition tape and everything. So the dialogue is completely separate to the actual, you know, the on-screen actions that you see. I thought this was brilliant. I was absolutely crying laughing.
It's not the first time either. Last time we saw them, she drank his coffee. and he says, oh, I'll make another one, shall I? Do you remember? Literally a blink and you miss it line.
I love it. I love the fact that she's got no boundaries, and then he's so polite that he just puts up with it. I find him so, I texted you this week, didn't I? I'm going to come clean. Cash right now is my favourite character on Home and Away.
Right, someone make a note of this.
Put it in the book. Because do you remember back in the day when he was going out with Jasmine, and I said to you on the podcast, I said, I wish they'd make him as funny as Nicholas is in real life, because Nick, his Instagram, when he posts, he doesn't post very often, but when he does, he's got a very dry sense of humour, and it cracks me up. And then we had boring Cash, just the copper going to work and talking to Jasmine about running down the beach or whatever. And I was like, oh, I wish they would just make him like funny, because I know he's funny. And they have. And I was texting you and I was like, this is what I've asked for. I'm so glad, because he's cracking me up. He's so dry and sensible, but it's the comedy of him is, I'm loving it. He's my fave. Yeah.
Blimey. What a statement.
I know.
What a statement. I'll leave you over there on your own for that.
That's all right. You'll be on my bandwagon in a couple of weeks. You always join in.
You're right. She's anxious. She's pacing. She's not heard back about this audition, has she? So every time there's a ding, she thinks it's a phone. And eventually it goes off. However, it's the dead co-star's fella not
Yeah,
Crystal, was it?
Crystal.
Not
Yeah.
not the news about this job she auditioned for last week, and it turns out the inquest basically is completed, so they need to wait to find out, don't they, like the cause of death and all the rest of it, and it's quite agonizing for her. So she asks Cash, look, you're an ex-copper, you must know people, go and find out. And he's like, oh, do I?
Again, this is what made me laugh, because she goes, you must have made some friends on the force. And he went, I made one friend. I made one friend. I was like, oh, bless. I can't even deliver it the way he delivered it. It floored me. I was crying, laughing. I was like, of course you made one friend. Of course you did. Bless him.
Oh.
I love him. I'll tell you what else
did.
made me laugh. That when they were talking
Yeah.
about her friend, because we didn't know how the friend had died, did we? We just heard she died a month ago, Stevie. We had that whole conversation. And then I said to you, I was like, I don't know whether it's meant to be funny, but the way that she described the death to Cash, like, well, you know, she was afraid of heights. Someone must have pushed her off the cliff. I was like, pushed her off a cliff? This is hilarious. I'm sorry. I was literally eating at the time, and I was like, like, I had a mouthful of apple, and all the apple was like coming out my mouth, because I was like, this is too funny.
Well, is that not the very definition of misadventure?
I just love this. I love the way that she delivers her lines. I love the way that I think these two together in a scene are really good. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, good. I don't think it's supposed to be this funny.
It's so dry.
But it is. Yeah, it is. It is. So misadventure, it's been ruled as by the coroner, and she's really upset about it, because she's convinced that this was her out. Like, if they find that she was killed, they would, this stalker, they're closing in on this stalker, and then if they catch whoever that you did that, it will mean that she can return back to her life. And the fact that they haven't found or haven't ruled that, one, she's in denial about it because she refuses to accept it, and two, that means that her life's never going to get any better. Like, this is her life now, and she really struggles with that realization, doesn't she? And before long, she's packed her bags, she sacked Cash. You're fired, I don't need you, I'm just going to live as I'm living for as long as I can, until whoever it is gets catches up to me, and I'm off. And he's like, don't be so stupid. And she's like, I don't need you. I do not need you. And I'm just gonna go. Try, my driver's outside. Bye bye. So either this is a whole elaborate story, and she's been doing it to herself, like we've been suspecting, or we now need to accept there probably is a stalker out there. One of the two.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the two. I just don't know where we're going, because I think, because watching this, when the death didn't get ruled as a murder, I thought, oh well, if she's doing it to herself, her plan's backfired, because if that death had been ruled a murder, then she could have said, oh well, it's my rival, and if Stevie was involved and there's no stalker, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, I have questions about this, because do you remember when this whole thing came out, and this is when they were in the hotel, and she was like, hold up, and she was telling him, oh, I think this is like about death throes. Oh, by the way, my friend died a month ago, and that whole thing. Oh, a month ago. She said, I didn't tell you because I didn't think it was relevant. So at that time, a few weeks ago, she didn't even think this co-worker's death was relevant to her stalker case. And now all of a sudden she's saying, oh, she was murdered by my stalker. How did we get here so quickly?
That's true. Yeah.
So I'm thinking, is it just really convenient that all of this is lining up, and then she's gone, oh, I'll change the story and say that, it's, I don't know.
Oh God. Yeah.
It's a bit
I
odd.
don't know.
I have questions, but yeah. So
I mean,
is it
Cash
Cash
has consulted somebody, so it must be true about the co-star.
Oh, I believe the death. I believe that she's died.
She's opportunistic. Yeah.
Yeah. Has she jumped on that? Because Cash has gone, oh, this could be related. And a month ago, she didn't even tell him about the death because she didn't think it was anything to do with the stalker. But now it's very convenient that, oh, there's another person that could have been killed by a potential stalker. If there isn't one, if she's making this all up, if it's all a load of crap, then having a body that's related to the stalker that doesn't exist is quite convenient, isn't it? If she
Yeah,
could have pinned
absolutely.
that as a murder on him.
Yeah.
So then the fact that it's been ruled as misadventure, she probably knows it isn't murder, or it's certainly not anything to do with the stalker. So she's left. So there's this meme like she's got no, I don't know, she's got no legs for her story now. Like, oh well, I guess the stalker's not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It still could go either way, couldn't it? At this
It
stage,
could.
you're right.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know what I think. I just don't know.
I
don't
want
know.
her to
I
be a
mean,
stalker. I want a
yeah.
creepy. We need a creepy stalker. I've been a stalker for ages. I want a creepy stalker.
Yeah, and I mean she's left, and Cash has gone to the city to like do a handover or something. Like, so what happens now? Like,
Yeah.
how do they end up back in each other's fold? Something must happen, whether it's fake or not. So keep your ears and eyes peeled, Sophie. Keep them peeled. Right, Dana. She was spilling her heart out to Irene back at home. She's absolutely riddled with guilt about her stupidity last week. I'd like to say, if I had my way, she wouldn't be with us now. Her braids would be all over the sand for this. She feels like everyone thinks she's an idiot, and we're all obviously reacting that way because she was very stupid, but she was naive, in a word. And she's called this. Everyone's leaving Tane voicemails, and including Dana, and messages and all sorts. She does tell Rose she's heard from him, but did she? I was like, what?
Yeah, he texted her.
Oh, right. I just must have been looking at my phone, making notes.
So what happened was when Maz and Irene were getting the house ready for Leah to turn up, she nipped off to the bathroom. And because he texted her, because she had been ringing him and left him voicemails and stuff, and then he texted her saying the baby's fine. That was it. It was just like one line, the baby's fine.
Ah, right, okay.
And then she ran off. She ran off to the bathroom and called him and said, "I know you're getting these messages. You need to call me. I need to talk to you. Blah blah blah." And I was like, "Oh." And at this point, I got to say, I was screaming at the TV because I was like, "You've had a text off him. Now we know from watching Home and Away and the various crime that's unfolded in the Bay over the years, we know you can locate where these text messages are sent from, because when you send a text, it pings off the nearest like telephone tower or whatever. I'm not very techie, so I don't really know, but you can locate the area that text was sent from.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So she could have gone to Rose at this point and said, okay, I know I'm in trouble, but I'm going to help you, and here's the information that you need to have to find Tane, because you can trace this text message. He's texting me from his own phone, dickhead. You know, so it's traceable. So that would have been some way to redeem her, because obviously Rose is really pissed at her because she's like, she reeled off a whole list of things, which we have done as well on the pod, all the things that she's done wrong, all the like unprofessional things that she's done in this story. And she could have had some redemption if she'd run down there and shown them this text message. I was screaming this at the TV. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think she was still in the sort of feeling sorry for herself stage. I think it was all a bit fresh, wasn't it? However, one person does run down to the police station, and that is Sarge. He's had to don his uniform. He's had to get out of his pajamas because he's been work from home.
Yeah.
And he's had to get in the office and sort all this mess out. And he is bouncing off the walls with anger when he gets there. Not happy at all. He's had to tell Sonia about the baby situation because Rose hasn't. She's not brought herself. She was buying time, wasn't she, for the DNA test, which has now come back as a match.
Yeah.
So Sarge has had to break the news to the mother, and he's taken the file off. He's taken the case off her. Rosie's off the case. She's been shoved on speed duty out on the road, and he's fuming. He's taking over, and he's saying things like, "Why is his face not on every screen in Australia? This is a joke." And she's like, "Well, I've put a block on his passport." And I'm like, "Oh, God's sake. It's because it's a friend." And Sarge soon finds out that this friend lives with their boyfriend.
Yeah.
Next time you want to cover for one of your buddies, oh, he's fuming, isn't he? Absolutely fuming.
I love this.
Sarge.
I love I'm glad we've got somebody that's like a stickler for the rules again. We've got somebody in
Mm.
there that's going, pull your bloody socks up, Rose. You're not just a constable anymore. You're a senior constable. You've been promoted, and all you seem to do. I mean, I was saying to you, didn't I? I said coming to the bay is broken Rose in a way, because do you remember when she first arrived and we were giving her loads of stick because she was giving Alf a speeding ticket for going like 30 to 20 or whatever, and we hated her because we were like, it's a small town, Rose, and you let people off, this sort of stuff. But this isn't a speeding ticket. This is something really serious.
Yeah.
And you're right. Like he's right. His face should be on the TV. He should be on the front page of the newspaper. We need to find this baby, and the only way to find this baby is to get the word out. We've not even told the mother yet. Sarge had to tell the mother. How are we going to find him? She's just relying on him to turn up because they're mates, or one of her friends to go and find him, rather than actually doing real police work. And I'm glad that he would like, do your bloody job, Rose, and get that name out there.
Yeah. And he goes straight onto a media briefing, doesn't he, and gets
Yeah.
Tane's face everywhere, which
Love this.
absolutely shocks everybody.
I
Everybody's
love
watching
this.
Channel 7 News, including where we now learn that Tane is up in some house with his cuz. So he does have people about to go to. He's been hiding out up there, and the cuz is like, have you seen the TV, boy? You see the news, boy?
Oh no.
So everyone's watching the telly in horror, including people back in the bay, and they're all really, really worried about this now. Now, last week I was like, I can't work out if Marley is helping him or not, given the way he was behaving with the whole search. Turns out Marley and Rose haven't actually spoke since she turned up with that warrant, so things are not looking good there. They do speak this week, don't they? But it's not good. It's not good at all. So that's writings on the wall there, isn't it? He contacts Marley, doesn't he? Because he needs his passport. He panics when he sees the news. Now, he's unbeknownst to, Marley knew that the passport had a block, but he had no intention of handing the passport, did he? He was looking for his car keys. You have to sort of keep your eye on this because it was moving so fast, what they're all doing. Marley gets this phone call off Tane. So they weren't in cahoots, but when I thought they were, is what I'm going to say.
Yeah, because he says,
Marley,
where are you, doesn't he? He says, where are you? Yeah.
Yeah. But it is funny. I was half right, because it is Marley he reaches out to. And Mr. Antipolis, that's who I'd reach out to and all.
Yeah.
So just as he's about to leave and he's admitting to Mac and Levi, so he's also implicating them in the whole cover-up, that he knows where Tane is. Harper rocks up and she's like, no accusations, but if you've heard from him, I need to know. So I was like, oh no.
Good timing.
He and Harper head out to this location, turn up. Tane is very unhappy that he's brought Harper and no passport, and they try and talk him round, don't they? Talk through to him. They let him know that the mother's been found. He's all like, how do you know that this is going to happen again? And she's like, well, I don't, but like, she's going to have the support now. And they basically try and make him see sense. He's not going to get very far. And they basically convince him to turn himself in before they find him, because that means things will be better for him when he inevitably gets into all the deep trouble he's in for kidnapping a baby. Yeah. It seems to work, because he comes in, doesn't he? Comes into the station and gives the baby back, and then he's arrested immediately by Rose and put in the cell. And at this point, we've been talking, but you've definitely been pushing this on the pod for the last month or so since this story kicked off. No one is talking about this slow breakdown that Tane is having that has resulted in all this, right? And the poor fella isn't getting the support that he needs, or the right support. And I think he's doing something that men do a lot, and it's this whole thing, about getting men talking and all that stuff. Because when he goes to the cell, he just shuts down. Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't want to talk. He refuses a lawyer. He won't speak to Harper. He's like, I'm in trouble anyway. What's the point in fighting it? Like, I can't deny it. Like,
Mm.
rather than sort of talk through what have I done, what got me here, he just completely shuts down.
Yeah.
And I think this is very typical of men, really. I think
It
this is
is.
quite an interesting
Yeah.
story.
It is interesting because when you got the backdrop of the mother, because we're all talking about the mother and the mother's mental health and everything else,
Mm,
and he's been really anti the mother, hasn't he? He's been like, well, you don't do
mm,
that. Doesn't matter what your house, what state your head's in, you get help, whatever. He's not doing
mm,
that. He's a hypocrite.
mm,
He hasn't
mm.
even realised that his own head is a shed and that he needs help. And I think this is really important, and we could do with stitching this together because that would give him some empathy towards the mother if he could realise he's done all of this because he's having a breakdown. She did
Yeah,
all of the abandoning of the baby because she had a breakdown. They've actually got more in common than he wants to admit at the moment.
yeah,
But he is doing that, yeah, that shut down. But nobody else, it's the fact that nobody else is realizing this. Everyone's worried about the mum. Everyone's, we've had these scenes this week with Rue, and we've had scenes
yeah,
with Rose and Harper and the mum, and you need to make sure that you've got all the support you need, and we know that this is really hard and you're struggling and etc. But nobody's looking at Tane in the same way and saying
no,
maybe he did all of this because he's also having a mental health episode.
yeah, yeah. And he's not gonna. It's that macho culture, isn't it? He's not
Yeah,
gonna want to
yeah,
talk about it all.
yeah.
What's happened is he's ended up in this situation where he's in serious crap now,
I mean,
isn't he?
he's clearly not thinking straight because the fact that he thought that he could kidnap a baby and then leave the country, his passport has been blocked before. He's been stopped from going to New Zealand before. We've been here before. He
Yeah,
he was he was at the airport with Nico and Gemma. Do you remember? They were going back to
yeah, yeah,
New Zealand,
yeah,
and then Gemma could go, but then Nico and Tani couldn't because Colby put a block on their passports. He
yeah.
knows that he couldn't just, and he can't take a baby on a plane without a passport. He knows this. You have to have a passport for the baby. The fact that he's kind of not even realised any of this shows to me that he's not in his right mind.
Yeah, 100%. And now he's refusing help, like
Yeah,
legal help, let alone any other help.
yeah,
I think we've got a way to go with this.
yeah. But are we
I
going to
mean,
recognise it? Is it going to be that? I don't know.
I think it's the only way you can attempt to write him out of this mess.
Mm,
It's the
yeah.
only, because that's his only defense
Mm.
legally.
But
But
we're not talking
also,
about it, are we? That's the thing. We're not. No
well,
one's put two and two together yet.
not at this stage. I think out of everybody, Marley perhaps might get it. The early signs are Marley might get there first because when they're back at the home and he's out, he's had his hearing the next day, and he's back home, and Marley's talking with Mac, and he's like, "Look, this is a lot. He needs time. Like yesterday, he was on the run with a baby. Like, let's not
Yeah.
try and it was Harper he was talking to. Let's
Mm.
not because all Harper's thinking about is anything mentioned about us being charged? Thinking, right, what about this poor fella?
Mm.
You're right to mention Rue as well, because Rue stumbles upon the mother inadvertently after she's learned from Sarge about it all, and Rue empathizes with the mother on another level, on a sort of personal level, doesn't she? And they have a
Yeah.
really good conversation. So I suspect that's a new friendship forged and not the last we see of them two. But I would say up to this point, Rue's been quite good with Tane.
Yeah.
Even offering to sort of foster the child on his behalf almost.
Mm.
But where was she in this moment? Chatting with the
Yeah.
mother. She wasn't
Yeah.
running to him at the station or trying to get through to him or offering him. It might come, but like, where is she at this moment? He's all over
I
the
don't know
bloody.
I don't know whether she knows yet, does she? Because when she was talking to the mum, she was like, I know the man who's got the baby. I know him, and trying to vouch for him and give a reassurance that he wouldn't ever harm her. He's not a bad person. He's doing this because he thinks it's the right thing to do. So I don't know at this point whether Rue even knows that he's been found. I don't know.
Right, fair dues. We'll see what happens next week, but
Yeah.
I think we need to start getting Tane some help now.
Yeah.
I think it's gone on long enough, do you?
Yeah, absolutely. Also interesting this week, there's only one jail in that that YCPD, isn't there? Because when the three lyric members got arrested, we saw Eden and Kirby locked up. We did not see Theo in jail, even though he was the one that admitted to have the drugs. You'd think he'd be thrown in the clink as well. We'd see him in the clink, and we didn't, did we? Or unless I missed it.
No, that's true. Yeah, it must have been one in, one out.
It was one in, one out. It was like, I reckon he was still in the interview room, and Kirby and Eden were in the cell. And thank God they got released in time for Tane to be brought in, because where would they have put him?
I know. Like the Debarbies in there together. What you mean?
I wanted to see all four of them in there, and like one of them like with a toothpick, and one of them like rattling the bars, and I just wanted to see it.
Seeing who gets bailed first.
I think that would have been hilarious. Oh dear. Right, Si, should we see what Social Meds thinks about that wedding?
Always. Wedding of the year, I heard.
Wedding of the year, absolutely. Yeah. So you'll say on the Bay time. I've been digging through social meds, I've been reading comments and looking at reactions from people who watched Home and Away in the UK this week, and I'm going to read some out. But before that, obviously we're on social meds, of course, everyone is. Coastal News Podcast or at Coastal News Pod, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, Twitter, etc. We tweet along with the show while we watch it at 6:30 p.m. Monday to Friday on 5-star pace here in the UK. So come and find us, join in the conversation, tell us everything you think about what's been happening in Home and Away, and we might just read out your comment next week. You never know. So, weddings. Who doesn't love a wedding, especially a soap wedding?
Well, I must say, your fascinator was...
Yes, the picky tea that you put out was legendary. Legendary. We were very ready for this, weren't we? We were prepared.
Love a pretzel and sausage roll.
Absolutely. Who doesn't love a sausage roll? Who doesn't?
Quiche Lorraine and Home and Away.
The new fish and chips. Absolutely. What better combination? So there was lots of excitement in the build up to the Bay big day. Victoria Krankenwagen on Twitter even tweeted to say that she'd washed her hair specially for the occasion. Yeah, I think we all did. I think we all got our best.
Do you know what this? If it shows you that a soap can still create appointment to view, even in this day and age, especially on like a soap like Home and Away, where the whole world's watching at different paces. Like the fact that we all got excited and sat down and put a quiche out and washed our hair is great.
Bit of effort for Home and Away. Why not? Why not? As someone that works from home, you know, if I get out of my joggers, it's a good day.
I know. A shower on your lunch, that's me.
Exactly. Yeah. Same here. Just get through the morning and then I can feel normal again by 1 o'clock. It's fine. It's fine. We all do it. But yeah, getting specially preened for the big ep was, you know, I think everybody was doing it.
Yeah.
Everyone was also pleased to see Tori and VJ. Lots of mentions about Tori and VJ. So I'll read you out a few. So first of all, on Facebook, we've got Julie on Facebook saying, I loved it when Alf said he couldn't walk down the aisle and then VJ appeared from nowhere.
Yeah.
That was a nice. That was quite. I don't know how he heard them talking from over there by the car.
I know. I was going to say that.
Obviously, those hearing aids or whatever have definitely cured him. Remember when he was deaf? Do you remember that? There was that story when he was a child that he was deaf, but clearly not now. He's got bat ears. He can hear everything. So be careful. Careful what you say around VJ. Sharon on Facebook says, really enjoyed today's episode in the Bay. It was really good to see Tori and VJ back again. And Anne's saying the same thing. Nice to see Tori and VJ. These comments are all over Twitter as well.
I tell you what, though, Tori copes with that jet lag well.
She does. A lot of people mention that. A lot of people were saying, how does she look that good when she's only just got off a 23-hour flight? But then I was thinking, she's got a toddler, so she probably got more nap on the flight than she does at home. You know what I mean? Who knows?
She's a doctor. She'd have gone premium. She'd have had a flat bed.
Or she'd have got an IV drip ready on the end. You know, get off the plane and get straight onto that IV. That'll cure anything. Absolutely. Yeah, Twitter was the same. Twitter saying, Jonathan said, I've missed Tori. David saying, I love Tori. Can we keep her? I think you said that you would have put a petition together for that. Lots of people saying the same thing. And Geraldine on Twitter saying it's such a nice touch to bring back some of the cast members. So a lot of people were quite happy and excited about Tori and VJ, but there were a lot of comments about why no Brody. Now, I don't know whether a lot of people missed this, but we were told a couple of weeks ago that Brody was at work and that's why he couldn't come, because this wedding has been organised at lightning speed, as most Summer Bay weddings are. In exactly 4 weeks' time, we're getting married. So they didn't get a lot of notice, but it's been noted that the people that live the furthest away have managed to drop everything in their life and travel to the Bay. And yet Brody, who apparently only lives, within, I don't know how, within, driving distance, not a flight, hasn't bothered to turn up to the wedding.
Do you know, us fans were never satisfied, are we?
It is a bit of a kettle, yeah. The comments are interesting because lots of people sort of saying great to see Tori and VJ, but then on the back of that, it's, well, what about Raffi and Brody and everybody else? So Anthony on Facebook said, why is Brody not come in? That was Justin's brother. Also, why has his daughter just walked in like nothing happened last time she was here? Which is kind of what a lot of people are saying.
Odd. That was odd, wasn't it? I mean, his daughter, it is a nice touch that she came, because in the story of these people, he has a relationship with her now, doesn't he? Even though we don't see it all the time. But it was odd that, she just sort of, nothing was mentioned other than the hoo to Valerie.
I know, and that made me cringe, because obviously the last time she was in the Bay, he was with Kirby, and her and Kirby weren't getting along and all that stuff. So I was like, it did make me cringe. But we're obviously very forgiving in the Bay, very forgiving people. You can do,
especially at a wedding. Bygones be bygones.
I mean, we have to remember that this storyline with her, although she's been off screen for so long now, it's rumbled on without her, because we've only seen recently that Justin was at his, his community service where he met that influencer. He wouldn't have been at the community service if it wasn't for Ava. Because, she lied and said that she got kidnapped by that guy in the van, and that's how all that kicked off. So
yeah, she went in that camper van with that pedo, didn't she?
But he wasn't a pedo. She was lying. All of that has a knock-on effect, and it's affected Justin for much longer than what she's been on screen for. So it is weird to see her come back and just be like, oh hi. And in fact, Anthony raised a good point. He said, why is Kirby hugging Justin's daughter? She's caused so much trouble for them. Laughing emoji. And it was a bit weird. Like, she did just rock up, have photos taken with Theo as if it was nothing, hug Kirby as if they were friends. I was a bit like, okay, we're very forgiving.
But it was. And actually, I don't think any of us would have thought about her if she wasn't there. I don't mean to be awful, but like, what was her story? Like, Tori, and obviously VJ walked his mum down the aisle. It was a big surprise. There was a bit of a will they, won't they, the VJ issue,
Logistics, Justin.
Always tell the celebrant any last minute change of plans, people. Always. And then Tori had, we got a bit of an update from Tori, didn't we? Through dialogue with her, and just it was, and when I saw Tori on screen, it was like it was 2018 again, pre-Panny D. Just good times. I absolutely love Tori. We spoke about it last week, didn't we?
Yeah.
But I don't think we'd have missed Ava. She sort of came, pouted a bit, and was mainly walking around in the background at the wedding.
Yeah, she didn't have a huge part to play, did she? Apart from "Go, Dad" before the song.
Yeah, and a bit of dancing. But I went, the dancing. Please tell me there's comments about the dancing on the old Booker face.
Do you know what? I didn't see any comments about the dancing.
Just me then with the keen. Just me that notices all this.
Not even about the John flipping Tori backwards bit. I mean, I was raving to you about that on WhatsApp, and I haven't even seen anyone mention that on Facebook or Twitter. So
come on, people, open your eyes. It was absolutely classic, this episode.
It was good. It was good. So that was Ava and Brody. Where's Ava, Brody? People have mentioned Raffi. Mr. David also wants to know why Andrew wasn't at the wedding.
Andrew.
Yeah. The one that got them kidnapped recently.
The cult. Yeah. I don't know. Is he? Perhaps he's re-enlisted at Vita Nova.
Vita Nova, as far as we know, is no longer a thing. They've been all caught, haven't they?
Oh yeah, your guard's already dropped, girl. You're going straight to the Endies near yogurt factory.
Do you know what? Just take me there. I'll go willingly. If it means I've got to send them the bloody email, I'll go in half an hour. Just give me half an hour to have a shower. I'll be gone.
Free box of glazed donuts with every holiday.
Can I get a free ladder as well? When I'm ready to come home. Oh dear.
Anyway, we can't keep doing that joke. But we will.
We can. Only us finds it funny. You know what? Who cares? Who cares? It's fine. But I tell you what, though, I think that one of the things that was surprising about this wedding, being a soap wedding, and also being a soap wedding in Summer Bay, there was no real drama. There were no car crashes. There were no disasters.
I know.
There were no explosions. And I'll be honest, I'm always a bit sad when that doesn't happen, because I'm here for the big drama. You know what I'm like? I'm a drama queen. I'm a Leo. Hello. So I like all that stuff. But lots of people, or am I? Don't go there. Definitely am. Lots of people on Facebook were saying thank you for not putting drama in the wedding. Thank you for a nice wedding where nothing went wrong. So Felicity, not the Felicity, said, I watched this. It was really good. There were no explosions or crashes. Thank you. Literally thanking them. Lorraine also said, thank goodness a wedding that's gone ahead with no death, no destruction. I was waiting and watching for something to go badly wrong. Nice to see one that happened without any disasters for once. Lots of people saying this as well. So
I mean, there was a stashing, drug planting, but okay.
It was very quietly handled, though, wasn't it? It wasn't a big drama. Only Justin and Theo were really involved. So
yeah, it was the episode cliffhanger, but
yeah.
Perhaps a lot of these people, drugs at weddings is the norm, so this is a normal wedding.
But it didn't ruin the wedding. Leah didn't know about it.
No, it didn't.
None of the guests knew about it.
Yeah, it was glorious. There was no stalker. There was no explosion. There was no stunt. Was there? It was, and it was the whole episode. Like
it was more than one episode, really,
and it felt expensive.
Like it did.
They'd spent a penny on this. Do you know what I mean?
It looked good. It felt like a real wedding. It looked like a real wedding. The location, and we saw was the beautiful.
Whole lot.
Yeah,
you know, from the getting ready, the ceremony, the meal, the nearly said the wake, the reception.
Oh God. Not yet.
The reception.
That comes later.
We even saw everybody go home. We saw them the next day have to go and get the
van and stuff.
The amp back. So we went through the day as it would go through the day, didn't we? It was really nice. Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah, unusual. Francis on Facebook says it was a beautiful day. Justin did an exceptional job and must have taken some planning to get it all done. Leah should have had more faith in him. Ooh.
Very good point. Because she didn't trust a word, did she? Even up to the night before, she's rummaging through his knicker drawer looking for his ring binder.
But she abandoned her own hen night because she didn't trust him. So, and then just got herself in such a mess, worried about VJ all night. VJ's not coming. My son's not coming. Anyway. But there was general love for the episode. So Julie on Facebook said it was lovely. Sharon says loved it. Severine said it was beautiful. Tracy says about time. Same on Twitter. Aisha says Leah looks gorgeous. Nina's crying. No makeup remover needed tonight. I'm bawling my eyes out. Karen on Twitter also saying she's crying. Wasn't expecting to get teary. Damn it. So lots of really nice comments. I haven't really seen anything bad about the wedding, apart from the the speculation about where's Brody, where's so and so, where, but we're always going to get that, aren't we? Because you can reel off for 30 characters that people could mention coming back.
And I think that's actually we got VJ after all these years, Tori after a number of years. Like, you can't say that they haven't listened. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? They haven't
Yeah.
listened. I thought it was gorgeous. It was gorgeously written by Paige Montague, was it? Who wrote this
Yes, I
episode?
think it was. Yeah, I think it was
So
Paige.
absolutely gorgeous it was.
Yeah, it
Thank
was.
you. Mm.
And in fact, we've got a comment from Craig on Facebook. Craig says, I've never really been a fan of Justin and Leah, but that was a beautiful episode.
There we
So,
go.
you know, even people that are not necessarily a fan of the characters are enjoying this episode, which is, you know, testament to how good it was, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. David makes a good point on Twitter. Mr. David says, I love Leah. I know she can be a bit annoying, but she is home and away to me as much as Alf, Irene, and Marilyn. We've seen her raise VJ through all the many traumas that she's been through, and I'm glad they got him back for the wedding.
Oh, yeah, that's perfectly summed up.
It is, because like I think we do mention Leah a lot and the Marmite and all that sort of stuff, and I love her, and lots of people don't, and what have you, and she's flawed, and you know, whatever. But it's nice to have a reminder that she is as important as some of the oldies, isn't she, really?
Yeah, you cannot take her away the fact that she has brought that young man up to be an amazing young man on her own through all the shit that's been thrown at her. You know,
Absolutely.
She's been there like 25, 26 years or something.
Yeah.
Like, give the girl a pat on the back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that is a true testament to a woman bringing up a child, you know, and doing such a fab job.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Mr. David spot on to bring that up, isn't he? I think. Yeah. Sarah on Twitter says the best episode in a very long time. So definitely a fan, Sarah, I think.
This is unanimous. Everyone's loved it, haven't they? That's really nice to hear.
It's nice to hear, isn't it? Yeah. And even JP obviously getting a shout out. JP, the best celebrant, you know, in the West or in the East, really, I guess, if you were talking about like the Sydney area. But Victoria Krankenwagen says, bless JP with a specially made folder. Did you see that?
Oh,
yeah. A
embossed
little folder embossed with JP and then celebrant. Oh, I thought it was so cute. So cute.
Yeah. So I was going to say something.
Go on then. What are you going to say?
I don't know.
Oh,
yeah, it was very
lost
good.
your thought.
I love the book. Yeah.
I love the book. Is that what you going to say? I love the book.
Loved
it. It was cute, wasn't it? I thought it was cute. Just Jen said, I love JP so much. And Jordan on Facebook is saying, JP's doing the wedding ceremonies. Sign me up. Well, Jordan, you have to get in the queue, I think, mate, because there's quite a few people asking John to marry them now, I think. Isn't there? If we're to believe his phone blowing up in the diner. I don't know.
That's what I was going to say, but I didn't know if I could. So he's got a website, isn't he?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So,
yeah,
he's going online.
Testimonials and.
So that book will come in good use. It was good investment.
It was. Not just for the day, hopefully. We'll see. It'll be nice to see if he does get any more like future, because obviously there's quite a few people sort of going off and doing extra curricular activities, aren't they? Like obviously he works in the surf club, but now he's been made a celebrant. Are we going to see him going off and saying, "Oh, I've got a wedding to do. See you later," on screen, or is this never going to be mentioned again? You know, it's interesting.
No. He's a bit like. Do you remember when he started doing bus tours? What happened to that?
Oh yeah,
well, you know, like he's a bit like this. I think there was a
disaster.
John.
There was a disaster, wasn't there, with one of the bus tours? Didn't the bus break down or something, or blew up, or I can't remember. Something happened. Yeah.
Don't know. I can't remember. It was a while back. But there's been, you know, he's had a few schemes in his time as John.
Yeah.
And he only had 2 bites, and one of them went somewhere else. I think it's a non-starter. I think it was a bit of comedy.
Yeah.
But it would be nice actually, because there is call for it, especially in a gorgeous place like Summer Bay.
Yeah, I just think it'd be funny just to have like a throwaway line where he's like rushing to the coffee cart, and he you know, Marilyn's trying to ask him something. He's like, "I've got to go because I've got to go do a wedding. Yeah. I'll see you in a bit."
And he's there in his robes. Yeah. Do you know, he's got it now though, so it can be called upon in any storyline now.
If they remember, we will remember.
Yes.
But will the writers remember this? Let's see.
Of course.
Put it in the book.
Have little faith. Yes, I'm going to get my own book
embossed.
embossed.
I'm gonna get you
Yeah.
one for your birthday. Yeah.
Things in store, things in home and away not to forget.
Yes, we need to
SH.
remember. Yes, SH Coastal News. I'll get you one for your birthday. Will the marriage last? This is the other question that people have been asking. So obviously the
Dead by
social
Christmas.
well, yes. Social media is obviously praising the wedding, but there's loads of comments going on about will the marriage last. So June says, "Oh, but she's the Black Widow. I'd stay well clear." Krankenwagen Victoria on Twitter was saying, about how Leah was panicking over VJ not being able to make it to the wedding. She said, "Well, there's always the next one, Leah. After all, you're the Black Widow." Just saying. So lots of people are, not convinced that this is forever. In fact, there was even more chuckling over Justin's wedding vows. Did you pick up on this?
No.
Where I think it was the song actually where he said we're going to grow old together.
Oh God!
And
I did
everyone
pick
was
up on
like,
that.
"Oh, it's a good ambition, Justin. you think you're going to grow old with that?" Yeah, I think Just Jen and Mr. David on Twitter had a good chuckle at this, and Mr. David said, "Yes, I admire Justin's optimism."
I was talking to Tamsin, who came on this a couple of months back.
Yeah.
And we were sort of talking through the history. I said one husband did make it out alive, Zach. He's out yonder somewhere, isn't he, teaching?
He's abroad, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, but they actually split up before he left, and we decided that was the key, that was the secret.
Yes.
If he manages to get out alive, in terms of they split up, he needs to that could be his keys to living a long life.
Yeah, that could be it then. That could be the difference. Okay, yeah. Well, he's been given the same sort of shelf life as a turkey, really, because most people are saying Christmas and he'll be dead.
Well, everyone's thinking of what that cliffhanger's going to be. That's what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Someone's life hangs in the balance every 12 months.
Absolutely. James is slightly more optimistic on Justin's part, because James on Facebook has said divorced by Christmas, so not necessarily dead, but definitely no marriage.
Annulled,
yeah, some kind of annulment. Nicola on Twitter said, knowing Summer Bay, I'll give them 6 months.
6 months is a long time in the Bay, so she's not wrong.
It's Christmas. It's the old turkey analogy. So not.
There's years, then there's dog years, then there's Bay years.
Absolutely. And then Caroline on Facebook is trying to stay positive. So Caroline says, hopefully they can stay happy for more than 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, Mazel tov.
Hold me in your arms, don't let me go. I want to stay forever closer